Is it possible for someone to change my name? I can't do it myself. This is Chayla Schuster from Community Solutions.
I just enabled the option, so you should be able to rename yourself now.
I just did it for you, Jayla.
Thank you.
Wow, that was fast. Good job. Quick. Do we have quorum, Katie? Or?
We are close. Let's wait another minute. Michelle, you can go ahead and start.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Maricopa Regional Continuum of Care Committee meeting. I am excited to welcome MEG's new Human Service Director, Kelly Williams, and also Katie Gentry, the new Human Services Planner at MEG, who will be coordinating the committee meetings moving forward. So I'm not sure, Kelly, if you want to just say hi real quick. Is she?
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to learning from you all, and it's nice to see some friendly faces.
Katie?
Hi, all. Thanks for having me as well. And if you have any questions throughout the committee process, feel free to reach out to me.
Welcome. So for all participants, please mute your phone or your computer when not speaking, and please do not put your phone on hold. We also ask that you identify yourself when speaking. We will be reminding people to do that throughout the meeting. Next is call to the audience, and please note that members of the public were given an opportunity to submit written comments relating to this meeting within 1 hour of the posted start time for the meeting. We did not receive any comments, so we will move to the next agenda item. The next agenda item would be the approval of the August 11th, 2021 meeting minutes. Did any member of the committee have any questions or comments on the minutes? And we'll just give you a minute to look through them. Good. Hopefully we reviewed them prior. So do I have a motion to approve the August 11th, 2021 Maricopa Regional Continuum of Care Committee meeting minutes?
This is Kathy. I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, Kathy, do I have a second?
This is Ty with Solari. I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Ty. Is there any discussion of the motion? Okay, so now I will ask Katie to proceed with the roll call. Please indicate clearly on how you vote, saying yay or nay after your name is called. Katie?
Kathy DiNolfi.
Yay.
Michelle Jamison.
Yay.
Anne-Marie Johnston. Anne-Marie, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yay.
Jennifer Page.
Yay.
Detective Aaron Raine.
Yay.
Nikki Ramirez.
Yay.
Ty Rosensteel,
Yay.
Shayla Schuster,
Yay.
Sarah Sims,
Yay.
Melissa Leathers on behalf of Laura Scott Mickey,
Yay.
Craig Tripken.
Yes.
Did I miss anyone?
Letitia Brown Gambino, yay.
Sorry, Latricia. Anyone else? The motion passes. Thank you.
Thanks. We will move on to the next agenda item, the Regional Strategies Update. TJ Reed, Regional Homeless Project Manager at MAG, will provide an update on the Regional Homelessness Strategies and Action Plan. TJ?
Good morning, everybody. Chair and members of the committee. Just wanted to share, since the last meeting, we have added the Regional Strategies Update as a consistent item that will be brought up each month to make sure that everybody is aware of what is happening. And then also in this case to solicit specific ways to get your feedback. So since the last month's meeting, we have met a couple of times with our regional coordination team of local and tribal governments. And I want to just thank you all again. Several of you or agencies not represented here have provided and been our kind of expert folks to join calls and provide feedback on different strategies and action items. So we really appreciate that. And now we're really trying to hone in on things that would be universally agreed upon by the local and tribal governments and informed by providers. And so one of the next steps over this next month is to do some focus groups with providers. So I would hope that all of you, if you're able to, would be able to join those calls, and we're going to try to break it out into smaller groups of around 10 to 12 in each to provide feedback on each of the action items. Prior to that meeting, we will send out the document of kind of where we're at. This is a living document, and we hope that you all can be honest and provide your feedback on it, because you are the ones doing the work, and something that's vitally important is ensuring that every single action item is informed by people who are doing the work. This will also be going through our Lived Experience Council for feedback and discussion. And it will also be going through, we have several volunteers from the board who are going to be reviewing these as well. So we want to ensure that there's ample opportunity for the continuum of care and providers in general, even those not connected to the continuum, to be a part of this process. As you all are aware, when the strategies were adopted or went through the board in May, there was a lot of opportunity prior to that where providers were involved, and kind of this is the next step. It's moving from the high level strategies to really the ground level of let's do tangible things now. And we're getting much closer. And so I would just ask all of you to be mindful of your emails when I send out some requests, which should be by the end of this week, to set up some focus groups, whether it's you or somebody from your organization. We would love to have as much feedback as possible. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, Madam Chair. And if there's any questions, I obviously did not go through the actual action steps at this point, but I'll be sending that out prior to the focus groups that we'll be doing with you all.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for TJ? Chayla?
Yeah, TJ, I was just curious. I know like organizations like Community Solutions, would you consider us providers, or are there opportunities for us to give feedback as well?
Yeah, I think being a voice in that pot would totally would be wonderful, Chayla. Okay. So I'll make sure that it goes out to the emails or the email contacts for this group. And if you're not on that, we'll make sure to try to forward that along to you as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you. We'll move on to the next agenda item is the Notice of Funding Opportunity, the NOFO update. So Julie Montoya with Human Service Planner at MAG will provide an overview of this funding opportunity and introduce the rank and review subcommittee questions. The committee will have the opportunity to give feedback and recommend questions being asked by the rank and review subcommittee. So Julie?
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, members of the committee. As you have all probably heard by now, the 2021 HUD COC Notice of Funding Opportunity, or now known as the NOFO, not the NOFA, as I think we're all getting used to. The NOFO was announced on August 18th, and the COC funding competition is now open for new applications with final submission of the COC consolidated application due to HUD by November 16th. A save the date and an announcement for applications went out for a local COC kickoff meeting that will occur this Thursday at 9 a.m. via Zoom. This meeting will cover the announcement of HUD funding, HUD application requirements, and timeline. The first half hour will be targeted specifically to new applicants that are not familiar with the continuum of care. The timeline of the 2021 COC competition calendar has been created and is posted on the MAG-NOFO webpage under 2021 NOFO materials. The timeline lists dates for events and deadlines for specific items. So a few timeline items to mention again are the kickoff meeting on September 9th at 9 a.m. via Zoom. And then new project applicants will be able to begin their applications in eSnaps, and local and draft HUD applications for new and renewal applicants will be due to MAG by September 29th. Final project applications submitted in eSnaps will be due by November 5th. The week of October 18th has been set aside for the Rank and Review Subcommittee to meet and hold applicant interviews. The Rank and Review Subcommittee will then provide preliminary priority listing recommendations to the COC board on October 25th, when the board will approve a preliminary priority listing. Any appeals will be due to MAG by October 27th. And if any appeals are submitted, an appeals committee will meet and an ad hoc board meeting will occur on October 29th to approve a final priority and notification to applicants, which will occur on or before November 1st. So in your packets, you have received the Rank and Review Subcommittee interview questions that we are asking for approval for today. The questions will allow for the Rank and Review Subcommittee members to add additional points to application scores. The questions mainly remain the same from 2019, except a question was added on addressing racial inequities, and for renewal PSH applicants, a question replacing the move on strategy question instead asks about strategies to overcome housing cost and limited availability challenges. For new project applicants, a question was added asking if the project is aligned with the regional strategies. So I will leave it there for now if anybody has any questions about the timeline or the interview questions.
Katie, this is please. This is Kathy, sorry. You said it was in our packet and I'm looking, is it in the email you sent us or the just in the online Zoom materials?
It will be in the link on the MAG website.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to recommend the approval of the Rank and the Review Subcommittee interview questions? I'm wondering, do we want to give a minute to have people review the Rank and Review, the questions? Okay.
Madam Chair, could I ask a clarifying question of staff?
Yes, absolutely.
So Julie, I'm not sure that I've actually seen these interview questions in this format before, and that might just be that I haven't seen it like this. Can you describe to me how exactly this works in relation to the scorecard? So I think could you just describe how this works in relation to the scorecard, please?
Sure, so they're like discretionary points, I guess you want to say. The subcommittee will get together and look at the applications. There'll be a specific scoring based on the scorecards that have already been approved by you all on the board. The interview questions, this is a time for applicants to be able to answer some more questions based off of their applications, or if they need further explanation. And so they're kind of like discretionary points where they can get further points on top of their application points. And these questions are typically given to the applicants beforehand as well, so they get an opportunity to really think about what they want to say beforehand. Does that answer your question, Ty?
And so, yeah, that's great. Just as a follow-up question, Julie, so it's listing out 1 point for each of these items. It would either be 1 point or 0 points for each of the items. So I'm looking at the questions for new, rapid, and THRH. There's 5 bullet points that this is an opportunity to add 5 additional discretionary points. Yeah. Okay.
That's correct.
Thanks, Julie.
Is it possible, can we put the questions up on the screen and just maybe go over them real quick?
Sure. Katie, do you want to do that or do you want me to do that?
Yeah, give me just 1 second and I'll pull it up.
I just have one recommendation. In a couple of the questions, you say, is your project aligned with the regional strategies adopted by the regional continuum of care? It seems like maybe it should be, how is your project aligned? Because a yes or no question doesn't really, it says yes, but how do you know that if they're not telling you?
That's a great recommendation. Thanks, Shayla.
Can you all see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Madam Chair, this is Ty Rosenstuhl-Slurry. Could I ask one more clarifying question of staff?
Yes, and I was on mute talking too, so yes, go ahead.
So Julie, I'm again looking at, we have the renewal PSH. It shows that there's here 5 discretionary points that are for this section. I guess where I'm confused is I'm looking at the scorecard that was reviewed and approved back in our April meeting. And in that, almost every section had an area where discretionary points were available. So, the very first question is around harder to serve populations, and you show your data for harder to serve populations, and it says that there's 1 point available for discretion. But I don't see a question here, specifically about, harder to serve homeless populations. But I could see where question number 1 sort of addresses that, right? Where, filling a community need, harder to serve populations, I see that connection. Is there an intended explicit connection between these interview questions and those discretionary points? Or are these somehow separate than what is listed as discretion points in the scorecard itself?
Well, at least for the renewal applicants, they get an opportunity in Presto to add a narrative to some of the questions where you're stating, Ty, that there's discretionary points available on the scorecard, but there is a limit to the amount of words that can be put in that narrative. So these do give an opportunity to be able to expand on maybe some of the things that they weren't able to say in some of the questions. Maybe get some additional points. These questions are aligned, but also asked in a different way so that there is opportunity for additional explanation of what their programs are doing or what they're planning on doing.
And Julie, is this new? Or have I just not seen it presented this way before? Or
you probably haven't seen it like this before. This lists all the questions for every type of project that may be applying. Usually when we send these out, you get your specific questions only based on your project that you're applying for.
Going back to what Ty said too, is there, I do agree that with the harder to serve population and to have the opportunity to put some type of feedback, because that is an area where we want to make sure that we are serving the harder to serve. But if it's not queued in, are people going to even know to mention that in their question and answers?
Based on, I'm looking at the interview questions right now as well. Number 6, you can say that, it says, if you'd like to further explain your narrative portion. I feel like that is a good way to open up for any kind of explanation that any programs would like to add. But of course, we would take any kind of recommendations if you feel like there needs to be any more specific language or questions as part of these interview questions.
Thank you. Can you move that down a little bit, Katie, for the next ones, or next questions? Or did you? This will just give people an opportunity if they haven't had the opportunity to look at the questions. Does anybody have any questions or feedback on the renewal for rapid rehousing? Okay, if you can go down, thank you. Okay, does anybody have any? I lost my video. I kind of, oh, there you guys are. So I couldn't see any feedback. Okay, I found you all. So any questions on the new permanent supportive housing questions or any feedback?
This is Jennifer. I think my feedback kind of aligns with Shayla's earlier comment with number 1, that being just kind of a yes, no question. Did we want to rephrase it so that we get a little bit more information there?
Thank you, Jennifer.
Sure.
Any other questions or feedback on the new PSH questions? Okay. You can just go down a little bit more then, Katie. Thank you.
This is a 2-part because of page break.
Okay. Any questions on the transitional housing? We'll go down. HMIS and coordinated entry. Okay, do we have any questions or feedback on that? Okay. All right, thank you, Katie. So do we have so we have to recommend the changes, correct, that we had Shayla had made. So okay, so can we have a motion to recommend the 2 changes? I forget what questions they were on the rank and review subcommittee questions.
Madam Chair, they would be question 1 for both new PSH and new rapid rehousing projects to change the regional strategies to how does your project align with new regional strategies, the regional strategies passed in May of 2021.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve those changes?
I'll make that motion. This is Shayla Schuster from Community Solutions.
Okay, do I have a second?
Richard Cruz, second.
Okay, now do I need another motion to approve the rank and review subcommittee interview questions? I believe. So I believe so. Could I have a motion to recommend the approval of the rank and review subcommittee questions and the changes?
Just to clarify, Michelle, you want one motion for both?
I think so.
I'll amend my motion though and say that I would like to accept the questions with the amendment that we change those 2 questions to how
I believe that
they
is
align with the original plan.
Yeah,
correct.
Thank you. Great, thank you. Okay, Richard, second. All right, thank you guys. We got over that little hurdle, so I appreciate the assistance. All right, so is there a discussion on the motions? Okay, so now I will ask Katie to proceed with roll call vote. Katie?
Latricia Brown Gambino?
Aye.
Vanessa Carthel?
Aye.
Kathy DiNolfi?
Aye.
Chair Jamison?
Aye.
Wendy Johnson?
Aye, and I arrived late.
Anne Marie Johnston?
Aye.
Melissa Leathers?
Aye.
Jennifer Page?
Yay.
Detective Aaron Raine?
Yay.
Nikki Ramirez?
Yay.
Ty Rosensteel?
Yay.
Shayla Schuster?
Yay.
Thanks, Shayla. Sarah Sims?
Yay.
Craig Tribken? Craig, I believe you're on mute.
Aye.
Thanks, Craig. Did I miss anyone? The motion passes.
Wait, you missed me though. Richard
Oh,
Cruz.
Richard Cruz, sorry.
And my vote is aye. Yay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. All right, the motion still passes, so thank you. We'll move on to the next agenda item. So an update will be provided on legislative issues of interest, and the Maricopa Regional Continuum of Care Board and subcommittee members will provide an update on recent activity. This item was requested as an ongoing agenda item by the COC committee to remain informed about the work taking place legislatively and in various subcommittees. So we will now hear from the coordinated and subcommittee chair, Matthew Kelly, lead housing liaison with Maricopa Mercy Care, excuse me, Matthew.
Hi there. Thanks for having me. I will try to run through quickly on our updates here. We have a couple of different things. First and foremost, we were able to get a number of applications for the Coordinated Entry Subcommittee. I believe we received 9 different applications for the Coordinated Entry Subcommittee, and we were able to vote and approve on 3 different individuals to add to the committee. So we've added Jeff Wilgale from the VA, Jusani Goodman from Phoenix Rescue Mission. She's representing an access point. And then also Mike Lafette from Native American Connections, who's also representing the youth population. We do have a couple more applications that we do need to review and approve, which we'll be doing at our next meeting. So we will be adding 1 and possibly 2 new individuals from there. So that's great news. So we've got a really solid group and I'm super excited about that. And just kind of a general update. So on the prevention work that we've been doing, I think I've mentioned this before in this committee, there's been the need to integrate housing homeless prevention services into coordinated entry. And we've been working through a work group to do that. And we've created the policy and procedures surrounding that. We made some minor edits to that. In addition to that, we were also able to create and look at a tool. It's basically the tool that's being used by the VA at this point in time. And it's part of that tool, we went ahead and took that tool and actually are forwarding that on to racial equity partners in an effort to be thoughtful about not creating another tool with some potential disparities into it. So we went ahead and forwarded that on to them for their feedback. We do have that back and we'll be working with the work group to kind of work through some of the recommendations and the questions that they had with that. In addition to that, as far as the process for integrating prevention into the system, we've decided as a first round, we're going to be working with the existing homeless prevention providers and kind of rolling them out as the quote unquote access point for the homeless prevention dollars. We'll be working towards bigger picture to rolling that out across the entire system. But I think as a first step, we wanted to focus on getting it up and running, and then we can start expanding from there. So we're going to be working with Ty and the prevention providers as far as the minimum data requirements that are necessary for HMIS and starting to move forward on that. So super excited. We're making some progress, and I'm super hopeful that we're going to be able to bring something kind of packaged and all put together in a nice pretty bow for the committee to review in the near future. And then also with regards to racial equity, we did have our meeting last month that was kind of put together by racial equity partners. We were able to bring in providers from 4 different communities across the country. So we brought in Austin, Texas, Tucson, Pima, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Greater Minnesota in general. And then also we had a representative from CSH who was more or less representing the Chicago area. And kind of just hearing what sort of things they had been doing to address, making a change with the tool and the VI SPDAT and kind of how they progressed. We heard a couple of like high level things from all of those providers. We had one provider who basically is doing nothing but, looking at length of time homeless and looking chronicity. They're not using any other tool other than just that. The Austin area was actually doing a very pared down questionnaire. In addition to that, they were also asking the specific race of the individual and actually using that to prioritize resources. And then in Tucson, Pima, they went a completely different route. They're continuing to use the VI SPDAT and then added some additional questions to kind of respond to some of the racial equity concerns. Apparently, just from the Tucson Pima crew, there was, I think, a little bit more pushback from the broader community about making a more significant change. So their effort to do that was to kind of add some additional questions to address that. One other, I think, overarching thing that we heard from all of the different communities was that they're trying to find a way to integrate the participant choice in this discussion. So what is it that the person believes they need to actually succeed? So really asking those types of questions so that maybe we can tailor the resource and the service that they need to what they believe that they need to be successful in housing. So rather than just doing a tool and deciding for you, we're asking you what your input is. And so I think that was kind of an interesting takeaway, and I thought that was great. So we're going to be taking a lot of that information back to our work group. We're going to be scheduling a debrief with racial equity partners and the work group, and then kind of devising a plan to kind of move forward. In our last meeting, we also talked through making sure that we were aligning with some of the HUD regulations and finding out what were the minimum requirements for an assessment tool that was required for coordinated entry to ensure that if we are making some dramatic changes, that whatever changes we're making, we're going to continue to remain in alignment with HUD. So Meg will be pulling that together as part of that work group. So again, some exciting work happening there, and definitely excited to see where that goes. And then our last thing that we did start to work on, and I think this is kind of in response to some of the great work that Solari has been doing with regards to I apologize, it's like the system dashboard. And we were kind of talking through with coordinated entry, what sort of things in addition to that system flow dashboard are we going to be interested in looking at? So we're really kind of trying to narrow down on the by name list and really trying to get some additional information with regards to the by name list and break things down a little bit more specifically so that we can start to do some consistent and regular reporting for the coordinated entry subcommittee. Our next meeting is going to kind of be focusing around some of those factors and what specific things we'd like to be able to pull out from the by name list so that we can start to track some, I think, more specifics with regards to that. Some of the things that kind of came up in that conversation were, of the individuals who are on the by name list, what percentage of those individuals are, say, for example, document ready, or have actually gone through the full assessment, or, where there are people are at within that process, because people can be on that by name list and not necessarily have all of those pieces pulled together. So that's kind of some of the stuff that we're going to be looking through in our next meeting. The other thing that we are also trying to do is really get a sense for what the lead agencies are up to as far as the work outside of what we track on a regular basis, whether it's through coordinated entry or through the system flow dashboard. Like, what are the things that they're doing outside of that, just to better understand what their workflow is, how much time they're spending. We all know that they're working overtime right now with EHV and everything else that's happening. We want to make sure and kind of really understand and document like the amount of work that they're doing. And so we're kind of trying to pull some things together for that as well. So I think some really great conversation around this, and it's going to take a little bit of time, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at today. Is there any questions on all of that? That's a lot, I know.
Well, thank you, Matthew. You did a great job. So very detailed.
Thank you. I try.
Very nice. Thank you. We do not have a legislative update, but does anybody have any questions? So Joan Service can answer if you have any questions with the legislative process right now. Okay. In addition, I don't think we have any other questions, but is there any discussion items that you'd like to have before we move on? Okay, quiet group today. So thank you. We'll move on to the next agenda item, which is future agenda items. Anybody have any discussion items they'd like to add? Okay. Thank you. We'll move on then. Comments from the committee. For this next agenda item, comments from the committee, is there anyone in the committee that has any announcements or events that they would like to highlight? I guess I will start. I'm moving back home to Minnesota with my family. So I put in my notice at US Vets. I will remain at US Vets until we are able to hire a new executive director and train. So it could be months, a couple months yet, but it's been a pleasure working with everybody to work towards ending homelessness and fighting the good fight with COVID and keeping all of our homeless individuals safe. So thank you for that. And I'll still be around for a while. I just wanted to let you know. Does anybody else have any announcements?
This is Vanessa from ABC.
Hey, Vanessa.
Hi there. Congratulations on your moving back home with family. That's wonderful. And thank you for everything you've done. I just want to let the committee know that the ad hoc move on strategy work group is still meeting. We're meeting every other Monday at 2 p.m. What we're working on right now is we want to gauge what PSH programs in the community, what their need would be for in the move on strategy, a need for vouchers to move on their clients. So we have a survey completed and we'll be sending those out. And then after that, we're really going to be having a lot of work with reaching out to PHAs and really getting this, the move on strategy up and running. So I really would like to see if any committee members are interested in being a part of this ad hoc work group. And also if any PSH programs out there, especially want to have a say in how that message is communicated to the PHAs. I really appreciate any input that anyone can give. So thank you.
If they're interested in being part of the committee, do they just reach out to you directly through email?
Absolutely, yes. You can email me if you're interested. I can forward you the invite. Also, you don't, I double checked with MAG staff, you do not have to be on the committee to be on the work group. So if you have someone in your agency that would be better fit to attend this or has time to attend this, let me know, send me their name and email. I'd be happy to follow up with them. I can, do you want me to, we don't have a chat feature anymore, but it's just Vanessa C, VANESSA C at azabc.org.
And Vanessa, maybe a suggestion would be to just send a brief email to Meg, and then they can send it out explaining what your needs are and what you're looking for. So then just a refresher in case one of us may forget or something.
No problem. I can do that. Thank you.
Are there any additional announcements? Well, we're going to buy some time for you guys. It's 10:12, so this is one of the shorter meetings that we've had. So buy you guys a little bit of time in your day. So with no further business, the meeting is now adjourned. So thanks. Have a good day.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.